Regional Raceway, and this has got to be one of the most emotional things I've ever been involved with. The fact that we've got everybody lying on the curb there, Ron with his dad. Look at Mr. Krikke Senior. Just the emotion on his face. He just looks so sad. There's Johnny and Peter Krikke, Shane and Ryan standing there as well. All of the crew on the main straight. Just unbelievable feeling.
Certainly was. It was an eerie situation as well, made worse by the lightning and thunderstorms that circled the track and seemed to hover the venue. Very much the same as the night that Ian Bradford died, and we raced a sprint car show that night, and the same situation existed. It's a pity that the lightning doesn't pick up there behind the lights, but it was, and of course the tribute by the fans there with their number 95s and sparklers and everything happening. Fantastic stuff by the race fans, proving that Speedway's big family is very much alive.
Yeah, that is very much the case. Just look at all those 95s. And I noticed that the Krikke boys releasing the balloons. What we didn't see just off the shot was Nolan and Michelle Krikke releasing the 95 balloons. Mate, there was just a sea of 95s. Now, hey, this is good thinking because there was a huge oh, wow. I think the boys might be up there watering the track. Quick time, Trevor Green. And Trevor has become such a good friend of all the Krikkes. He was choking back emotion, trying to stay focused on the job at hand. But after this, it was time to get on with it, wasn't it? And the boys were racers.
Well, that's right. The tribute was put aside, and of course we get on with the serious part of racing. And man, this was serious racing.
Well, we missed Eddy Gobby's little impression of a coffee table earlier on, but Eddy's a wonderful character. I mean, I know a few of the other boys think he's a bit radical at times. Now, this is a great moment in sport. Terry Dorrington, for once, not able to catch a word together because Ron Krikke has got him well and truly. And look at the emotion in Terry's face there. And honorary wingman is what that trophy says. And just look at TD there. He doesn't know what to say.
Well, he's done a fantastic job assisting the families. In the past week, he's been a tower of strength to everybody associated with Speedway, and there to back people up in real moments of need throughout the season, and never more importantly required in the last week.
Well, I think it's shown a very real need. And look at this for a great moment in sport. Nolan and Michelle Krikke down the front with the 95s. Ron, John and Shane on the four-wheeler. And, oh, man, this just gives me goosebumps all over again just looking at this. Look at them. They're clapping the fans, and that's really indicative of the feeling.
Yeah, it's a tribute to them. The fans came out to really support the Krikkes there.
Okay, heat number one. Oh, raging even. Pino Priolo will have been racing in close quarters. Get off the brakes, Greenie. Racing in close quarters, that's easy for me to say up here. Just run it as you like, Trevor, right? I've never run one of these things before, apart from wheel packing Des's car for a couple hundred laps. Michael Figlamini, I was 100, okay. Michael Figlamini making his way up. Here comes Rushy on the outside of Shane Murphy. No love lost. I tend to think there's some respect. But it was at Bunbury in turn one when those two had their most famous of coming together.
They've had a number of them, and of course nothing more famous than that, where Garry did a big one in front of the main bar and attributed Shane to it. And of course that has been an ongoing feud ever since.
Attributed Shane to the impact. I like that. I remember Rushy leaning through the helmet and grabbing Murph by the bridge of the nose. Of course, when you're sitting there in your car under a red light stoppage strapped in the car, you've got nowhere to run. Figlamini in the 10 car starting to come forward behind Priolo. Shane Murphy right in behind, and this is a great camera angle. It's actually filmed. Guess where it's filmed from, Des?
Don't know.
Thought you might say that. It's filmed from your pit tower, the Radio West pit tower in turn number 4. What I like about it is it shows how the guys set the car up for the corner here. I mean, oh, baby, hook and a cushion. Here's Scotty Milling. Oh no, it's in fact Allan Hayes, I should say, in the 66 car, but it gives you an idea of how much weight transfers in these cars.
You can certainly see the car working hard through those corners from that particular shot, as you commented there, Wade.
Well, Murph looking for the inside line. Figlamini might make it a whole lot easier if he's not careful here. Shane Murphy on the inside. A nice move. Did not lay a wheel on him. Straight through. Up behind Priolo now. Is Pino our race leader? No, he's not. It's Allan Hayes in the 66 Austrac Maxim. Changed it to a Maxim mid-season, which sometimes, Des, can be a serious drama.
Well, when you've had a number of problems, I guess you just like to draw a clean sheet and start all over again, and that's what Buzzy and the team decided to do. And of course, there's no one more enthusiastic than the Haynes and Milling team for those guys to travel so much, race so much, and recycle so many wings.
Just talking about a brand spanking new one. Look at that thing. I think Buzzy's been doing his hair and the reflection of that one. They run it at turn number 3 and 4. They certainly do go through some wings. Sean Curran just smiles every time he sees them show up. Here we go, 1 lap to go. This is good for Hainsey. I'd really love to see the team win a main event this year. If anyone's injected professionalism into a 2-car outfit, it's really been these guys. Turn number 4, checkered flag at the ready, and it is in the bag. Allan Hayes gets the win. Oh, good run from Ron Krikke in second. Back to Pino Priolo, right in behind Shane Murphy, back to Michael Figlamini, Trevor Green, Garry Rush and Ray Geneve in the 40 car. Talking to Ron after this, he said all season he just couldn't wait for the races to end. This time he just wants them to be longer. He said he's really settling in well with this Maxim. This could be the rebirth of Ron Krikke.
A renaissance almost.
Well, yeah, wasn't that a fitness centre? I like all those big French words that Des is trotting out here. Look at Wellesley on the inside of Gobby. Shane Krikke almost obligingly moves aside as was it John Krikke just up ahead. Wellesley not far behind with Gobby sandwiched in the middle. And Kenny Jacobs running in the 47 car, trying to track him down into turn 3 and 4. That car of Wellesley sits so nicely in the corners. It jumps straight over into the left rear and comes into the turn so beautiful.
They got the perfect combination, whatever they do, and I guess they're not going to tell people what they do, but man, they've got some good results from it.
Well, their crew chief, Steve Melville, certainly works his heart and soul into this whole separation, and no doubt going to be interested to see how he fares the next summer. They've had a season together, and I guess really Reg has always played a big part in his dad's racing, but he's sort of been nudged aside a little this year.
Yeah, big influence, but he's got that little technical smarts and sits on the side of Melvin, the team, and I believe is a big contributor to Mark's success.
Well, I can't imagine Reg letting anyone get in the middle of him and his boys, so I think it's been the chemistry, though, in many respects, between Melvin and Wellesley that's helped him to 7 feature race wins this summer.
Outstanding year, of course, and they deserve it. They've put in the effort and they've got the results on the board. The old Eddie, they're really giving John Krikke the bit of a workover.
Well, there's no feeling between those two.
Well, there never has been. I'm sure there is almost a brotherly caring now.
Oh, a brotherly caring. Okay, fair enough. I reckon it's about as cool as the afterburner on a NASA space shuttle. Those two still love to go at it. Vince Chapman, I would just love to see him finish this season on a high. Comes out of turn 4. Ryan Farrell is coming at him, though. The 2 Murphy cars, and look at Ryan. I mean, to be able to throw away ground like that and still be bearing down on your opposition, this is one fast car.
He's got a good motor to be able to do that, get up and go and then lose it and then catch him up again.
They put in a huge effort just to be here for this weekend, Des, because they really did a huge amount of damage at Claremont a couple of weeks ago. And now to see Ryan running so hard, they only finished this car yesterday at lunchtime. And look at that. This is the potential that we know he has.
Yeah, he does have real potential. There's no doubt about that. And a lot of speed there to be able to race up on the inside and go on with it.
If you listen carefully, you can hear Vince Chapman crying. They go into turn number 3 and 4 because he has just driven away from him. Look at this. Off turn number 4. Car is set nicely. Farrell gets the win, an emphatic one that it was. Chapman in second. Eddy Gobby in third. Back to Kenny Jacobs. John Krikke, Mark Wells. I think that was the 45X of Ante Kinley in there behind as well. So heat number 3. Chapman. Oh, Priolo jumped up on the back then. And everybody seems to be okay. I think it was Milling's right rear that he rode. But the field looking a little bit at sea just at the moment. Rush gets around the outside, and Pino definitely receiving some roadside assistance.
Little helping hand, exit left.
Well, a big helping hand, really, and that is really, in many respects, Des, that's disappointing that Priolo has been very much disadvantaged by that and won't take a further part in the race.
No, it doesn't help you at all when it comes to points are so vital to move towards the dash and then the feature that you can't afford to not finish every race.
No, and it's a little bit unfair, I think, for him to be sitting on the infield when really nothing's been done about it. They come off turn number 2. Not going to be controversial about it, but hey, there's the 8 car sitting there. Off turn number 4, Gavin Migro in a 7X car. John Krikke, oh, right there with him. The wide open spaces of the Bunbury Clayway, and certainly the track looks like it's in pretty nice shape.
Yeah, it still looks a bit damp, judging by the sideways attitude of some of those cars, but it's hard to tell from looking at this video just how good it is.
Are you saying this because it's blurry?
No, the vision's beautiful.
He can stay. He can stay. We won't call security just yet. Down the back chute. Here is Kenny Jacobs starting to monster him as well. Gavin Migro. This is an up and down kind of a track for Gavin. He either wins here or doesn't do particularly well. I know it can be a bit of a nemesis for him. There is Scotty Milling just up ahead of Kenny Jacobs. having said that, when he gets it right, he really gets it right.
It has been a bit of a bogey track for him. He did win the Marlowe's Grand Prix last year at the start of the season. And this season, of course, this is his first run down here. The car itself looks as though it's leaning over to the right a bit, as though it's a bit soft on the right-hand side of the car, and that might be why he's having a bit of a handful there.
Well, the HM team have found the combination. Don't paint the wing. Just look at this thing. It's a rocket. Gavin Micro right up against the wall that time, trying everything he can to pull back in our race leader. Johnny Krikke having a pretty good run there, and the 99 car starting to settle in with some decent laps. And nice now, I think, at this point of the evening, he can start to settle down and think really carefully about what he's doing, because at the start of the night, he had to be a little bit overawed.
Well, you wouldn't be human if you weren't, and to put that aside and to go on and race these things at this speed is quite an achievement.
Well, here is Kenny Jacobs in the 47 car, and a lot of adjustments to his line at the moment. Those front wheels are very busy. 1 lap left to go. JK runs it hard into 1 and 2. Here is Allan Hayes in the 66 car. What a night the Hurricane is having. Very talented shoe is this guy. They've had a lot of bad luck, but I think he's a good racer. Back in the second spot, Gavin Migro in third, John Krikke back in fourth. It's Scotty Milling, Kenny Jacobs and Shane Murphy. Let's have a look at a replay here. What are we looking at? Brad Steele's hooked us up with a slow-mo. Oh, look at Vince Chapman getting over the cushion, gets a big heap of drive, and up that high and that close to the wall. That has got to be a little bit disconcerting. Certainly there's a nice cushion for the guys to work with.
Yep, they seem to be getting the hang of it pretty well there, Wade.
Heat number 4, the final qualifying heat, is it? Or do we have 6 heats tonight? We have 6 heats, don't we? Now that's going to test everyone's memory, isn't it? It is 4, okay. Last heat of the night. I'll stand by my statement. There is Ron Krikke on the bottom. Wellesley right in there as well. Look at this, 4 wide out of turn number 2, and look at Wellesley going forward on the inside, sparks flying up. Oh, Ron gets a bike just at the wrong moment, and all of a sudden back on the tail of Wellesley. Now this will be interesting in itself, Des. I'd like to see whether Ronnie can run down Wellesley.
He'll be a good judge of speed if he can stay with him, I would think, Wade.
Well, here is Mark Wells right up on the cushion. He's just so smooth. Here comes the move on the inside of Ray Geneve. There's no chance in this lifetime that Ronnie's going to catch Wellesley.
No, I don't think so, but just watch and see.
Well, down the back chute into turn number 3 and 4. Here comes Ronnie. Nope, Geneve's able to deny him. Ryan Farrell, just look at the way that car is tracking. Just brilliant. Ronnie has dropped away a little bit here. Ray Geneve has opened up a bit of ground on him. Wellesley negotiates turn 2. I don't think Mark Wells has a bogey track, does he?
Doesn't seem to, not in Western Australia anyway.
Parramatta maybe. They go down the back chute. It was even going well then before he flipped too. Oh, speaking of flipped. Oh, Trevor Green, a nasty one in turn number 3 and 4. And the lights have gone out, Des.
Yeah, what happens, Wade, when something strikes a light pole like that is our fuses and circuit breakers will disconnect the power to that section of the track. And that, of course, is a safety aspect. That's quite a heavy hit on top of the fence there, of course, before he took the pole, so good job.
That was a huge hit. I never realised just how hard that went over. It's got together with Figlamini, and I think the car was accelerating pretty hard. Look at the sparks. What, off the diff, is it?
I don't know. I couldn't see it, sorry, mate. He's hit the light pole substantially there, and, of course, that and the cables have pushed the car back.
Well, the safety fence has certainly done its job, but that is just a huge, huge hit. And I imagine with the lights and a couple of the bits of the fence, I think you've sent him the bill?
He sent me a bill for a wing, so I thought he owes us for 2 globes. And just looking at that also, Michael Figlamini is very lucky he didn't go over in that process.
Gee, that was just a violent flip. Look who's one of the first people to come over. That's Shane Murphy in the background there, running over to his assistants. And while we don't certainly encourage a look at this, got the dark glasses on, so we're very safety conscious here. With Brother Mouse, they're working on the main wing bracket, but looks things on the roll cage. Have you got your dark sunglasses on, Des? Because I have. I'm not going to look at this and get blinded. But Trevor Green showing the versatility, and of course with his family with Green Welding, I think he knows how to fire those things up.
Yeah, they're well qualified to do the welding job, there's no doubt about that. They put a really huge effort in to get the car back in time for the feature race.
I got told by the rather large videographer and photographer that a couple more minutes, if we'd stalled that race, Trevor Green would have been out in this one.
What, the blonde one told you that?
Yes, the blonde one. Look at Ron Krikke on the outside. Wow, what a move from RK in the 95 car. Now, I get the feeling they might have been able to make some changes during that red light stop.
A little tweak, I'd think, to make that car get up and go like that.
Well, Eddy Gobby just dived through on the inside of Geneve. It's a little bit dark back there because we've dropped a couple of globes, but certainly nowhere near anything that we consider dangerous. The track's still very well lit considering what a hammering Trevor Green just gave the electrical system involved there. Farrell is out in front, Wellesley in second, RK back in the third spot. Has there been any sort of peripheral damage to the place, or is it just basically a couple of globes?
Couple of globes.
Wow, absolutely amazing. Osram, Bunbury City and Regional Raceway. They go into turn number 3. Here comes Figo. Well, Des Ferris was lucky to survive that. Here he is out racing for the spot with Geneve in the number 10 Steve Call car. Right in behind him, Rushy having a dog day afternoon.
Bad day in the office.
Does happen, even to the best of them. Ryan Farrell is just rocketing around this place. Two contrasting lines, Des, and one working seemingly a lot more effectively than the other.
Yeah, Ryan, of course, always chasing the high line from my recollection, and he's certainly getting some good speed here. Jeff Murphy has worked very well to get this car to the right combination that he's got now.
Gee, it's just motoring around, isn't it? That's just beautiful. Hardly a slide up. That is about 90% traction by the look of it.
That's right. You'd be aiming for that all the time, and they've been achieving it too. Remarkably, from Speed Week onwards, they've had a really great season.
Well, ever since the brand new car, that's really what has been the turning point for Ryan. Since they got that new car, they debuted it on Boxing Day. He was impressive there. And now what a run from the young man who suddenly, from time to time, walks the tightrope. But tonight has looked very good. Look at, he's just belted Wellesley. It's a long way back to Ron Krikke in the 95 car. Eddy Gobby back to Geneve, Michael Figlamini and Garry Rush. Was that Shane Krikke in the number 2 car? I think it might have been Shane Krikke. Oh, the 2-lap knockout. These are passionate little affairs, aren't they?
They certainly are. They always are. And a great favourite for the crowd, of course, because you see some real wheel-to-wheel match racing, true match racing.
Well, it's an integral part of the entertainment dollar, I really think. When you go see sprint cars, you should see these just about every time.
Why not?
Out of turn number 4, we both know why not. Onto the main chute, the 99 car, because not all the drivers like doing them. Into the main straight, John Krikke, a fabulous result, has taken the hot 4-man out. Ryan Farrell, I wouldn't have predicted this.
The good thing about this, though, Wade, is that you can progress from, say, position 8 to 1 by virtue of winning, say, 6 or 7 knockout races.
Well, they come off turn number 4. Farrell could drive back in second. Well, interesting little run in the first part of the knockout. Brothers Krikke. And you can bet that no one's going to give an inch here. This might be a sentimental event, but no one's going to give in. And I don't think Ronnie exactly gave his brother a whole lot of room there.
Not a lot of room. No brotherly loss there.
No, I don't think so. Loss? Well, there might be. You never know. They're running a turn with 3 and 4. It's certainly going to be a loss to John Krikke because Ronnie is going forward. Look at this car. It is motoring off turn number 4. 1 lap to go. Let's face it, Ronnie's a fair way down the order in the top 8, so he stands to gain more than most here.
He's going to sneak up the front of the field by doing this, and the 2-lap races too do give him an opportunity to play with the car and get it right for the feature.
Well, there is a checkered flag out. JK goes to the infield. Ronnie stays out. Talk about rivalry. We've got it every time we go. Fast Eddy Gobby gets the whole shot. Ronnie on the outside. The Bunbury Bullet at Bunbury City and Regional Raceway. Fabulous move on the outside. That is the Ron Krikke of old.
Certainly is. He went on with it, and that's the whole name of the game with this sort of racing. You've just got to hang in there, line your wheels up, and keep on going.
Ronnie said this motor is, and I quote, a bear. He reckons this thing is crashing out of the woods like a big old grizzly bear, and it certainly seems to be going full.
Well, it's a good shaver motor assembled by Jeff Kendrick, and it's obviously turning out the horsepower.
Okay, on the outside now of Gavin Migro. And I get the feeling that the outside groove is very much the place to be. Migro tries to shift him up a little, and Ron Krikke is on a mission. They come out of 2. Oh, look at... Now, let's look straight away at the body language of this car, and the tail tank is almost on the ground.
Yeah, she's leaning over the left and obviously working well, and basically staying straight too, and he's using that cushion well on those outside passes. He's just able to keep his wheels lined up nicely. Well,
just look at him running into turn number 3 and 4. It's been a good many years, really, since Ron Krikke's been at the top of the Christmas tree. Maybe he could start getting back there now. This is a major confrontation between him and Wellesley, and look at it, pull off the corners. A red-hot right rear might help too.
The drag race was good. He got going nicely there, there's no doubt about that.
Into turn number 3 and 4, and Ron Krikke, the Osquip Industries, Penrite, Car Talk, LJM, Ron Krikke Auto Centre. I'll go through whichever ones I can read for you, Ronnie. It is a good job out in front as look at that car set, so nice. Running into turn 3 and 4, it's all over, and he has put Mark Wells away. It's something you have to say no one I don't think was expected.
No, not too many people have done that lately to Mark, that's for sure.
Kenny Jacobs now. Interesting concept this, every battle. Now look at it's in contrast, it's very slick on the bottom desk compared to the outside, isn't it? And Ronnie is just using it to his advantage every time.
Yeah, Ron was a bit smarter at the start there too, I think. You know, Kenny really should have waited until they got onto the straight.
Well, he's the one that sets the pace, isn't he, the pole car?
He's got control of the pace, really, and I think that Ron's conning them into starting a bit earlier, coming out of turn 4.
Conning them?
Inducing.
Oh, inducing. Dr. Ron Krikke will induce you now. They come up turn number 4, checkered flag. They've got the funniest words for things. Shane Murphy alongside Ron Krikke. Now look at Ronnie starting right above the cushion. Mind you, he's not going to take that start. And I guess no one's really surprised here that Ronnie's going to wait for Shane Murphy to come back around, because this will be a battle of the wits. Hang on a second. Oh, Brad Fatrat still onto the scene straight away. And the hot word is there's no racing spirit left in the tank. I guess that they kind of budgeted on a certain amount of laps and keeping the car lightweight.
Obviously to keep the fuel load down, but I guess they've underestimated slightly.
Does the word backfire mean anything to you? Well, the crew are optimistically... Look at the signals from Icky then. Keith Giles goes to chat with Keith Mann. I can tell you that Ron Krikke asked if it was 2 laps when he went past, and Ron's got the car fired back up. Shane Murphy is the winner. Modifications? Brad still, his English is lousy, but he tries hard. Shane Murphy in the 4X car will be on pole, and look at everybody coming out of the fence. It's 4 wide. The main event for the City and Regional Fuel Sprint Car Shootout with the BP pizza delivery pace vehicle, as a matter of fact. Yeah, the Domino's Bunbury pizza delivery vehicle. And the field rolling around. John Krikke has had to go to the infield. The fuel cap has fallen out of the back of the tank. I cannot believe that. Mustn't have been just fastened on properly.
Clearly.
Well, they come off turn number 4. That's a tragic result for JK. Oh, Shane Murphy and Ron Krikke getting together there. This huge field rumbling. Look at Rush going forward in a hurry. They come out of 2. Figo down the bottom. Farrell using the outside groove just then. Shane Murphy is your leader. Ron Krikke back. Oh, Gavin Migro around, keeps a foot in the bucket. And what was a sandpit has now been distributed around the circuit. And, oh, Eddy Gobby is pulled up on the main straight. I don't know what the problem is here.
Yeah, Eddie actually, I think, snapped a crankshaft from what he was saying on the infield. The front of the motor shifted forward, so that's big dollars for Ed, unfortunately.
What a shame. In the first lap out so early, I know he was visibly upset too, because he, like so many of these guys, wanted to do well. Well, Migro completes the second 360 onto the infield. Ron Krikke has got a much better start ahead of him this time. A lot of wheel banging between himself and Murph in the early going. But here is where everybody tries to sort themselves a line, virtually making your bed and finding a nice place to lie.
That's it. They're obviously just contending with the track too after it's been track graded and looking for that cushion again, which has shifted since the track preparation, but they will run another one in.
Well, they come out of turn number 2 and the yellows are on. I don't believe it. Where is the problem? Oh, it's Shane Krikke in the number 2 car. A harmless spin this time around. No damage to the car that we can see. The GKR 47 Short Enterprises Schnee. Or I notice that Kenny keeps calling it a Schnee. They have a different way of pronouncing that. Wellesley is right there. Farrell, look at the hunger in Ryan Farrell tonight. This man out in front, Ron Krikke would love to do the job. Look at Kenny Jacobs on the outside of Wellesley. And that's why you flew him back 15,000 miles.
That's right. That's the sort of thing we expect him to do, and he's capable of doing. And this will be a good race.
Well, here comes Wellesley. Oh, through on the inside. Well, desperate or low?
Both.
Yes, it was. It was very low going into turn number 3, and the sparks was the concrete curb coming up on the drive line. I mean, on the diff, I believe. That's what I think it was the cause.
Or the underside of the chassis, Wade. Not having seen a replay, I wouldn't know, but I would suggest probably the underside of the chassis. Well,
nonetheless, Wellesley's going forward. Kenny Jacobs a little flustered back there now. Ryan Farrell's come back at him. In fact, Ryan's going to move him up track and get through here. Kenny will stay out there and run with him. Ron Krikke is your leader, the 95. LJM Maxim. Back in second is Shane Murphy. In third, Mark Wells. In fourth, Ryan Farrell. In fifth, Kenny Jacobs. Back to Allan Hayes. Trevor Green coming forward too.
Trevor's a big mover in this race, and a great tribute to them to come back after demolishing one of our light poles and really turn it on as they do here.
Wasn't that damage that they fixed. In fact, I didn't think I even saw them come anywhere near helping to fix your fence.
Sunday they were out there putting the pole back.
Were they really? Well, very nice guys, weren't they? I would have left you there. Onto the main straight. Here comes Greenie up above the cushion. A great young team. It was nice to see his brother Mouse show up for this weekend too.
Great that he could come, of course. He's had a little problem, I think, with his American visa papers, but great that he was able to be here and assist Trevor, and really helped him put on a strong showing on both nights of racing.
I'm sure where he really came into his own was when they had that flip and had to make the quick, hasty repairs. Being a pit crew on the Jack Ordenschild car, so that making repairs is something that comes second nature. They come off turn number 4. I'm not casting any aspersions on that, but I bet Ryan Krikke can bolt a chassis back real quick these days. Here is Ron Krikke, the 95 car, rockets out of turn number 2, and maybe, just maybe, Ron Krikke could make it in just his second night of competition behind the wheel of this car. And I know that there's at least, I'll say 5.5, Des will say 15,000 people in this grounds tonight that want him to win this race.
They'd love to see him win this race. In fact, will this be his first feature race win for the season?
Yep, and it wouldn't be the last time. In fact, it would be, I guess, it's about 3 years in a row now where he has won in the last couple of weeks of the season. This being the second last show that's involved in the series this year. Here comes Ron Krikke, the man we're talking about. What worries me is that Mark Wells has brushed aside Shane Murphy and pulled away from him at an alarming rate. What Ron Krikke doesn't need to do here is he doesn't need to muck around with lap traffic. Gavin Migro made an interesting point about this. He said sometimes you can forget how to win. The killer instinct falls away a little bit, and Ron is not messing around with the traffic, but he's not exactly charging through it at the moment.
No, that's right. You cannot afford to hesitate when you come up behind slow traffic. I know that sounds an anomaly really to say that, but you've got to act and pounce quickly, because if you don't, someone will on you.
Yes, community chest or chance? Who's playing anomaly? Not us. They come out of turn number 2. There's another one of those big words. There is the Darryl Krikke 95. I keep wanting to say Darryl. They even sit similar in the car. Ronnie's got that unusual looking head forward position where he looks like he's trying to reach through the front of the cage. They come off turn number 4. Darryl used to drive like that too. Here is Ryan Farrell. Again, we talk of his improvement. Look at this battle for the minors. Fabulous. Between Murph, Trevor Green, Ryan Farrell. Looks like everybody having a good run there.
The race was really on, and Ryan Farrell is really going forwards, I think, from memory. He worked his way well through this field.
Well, Kenny sitting right there in the middle of it, trying to find a way through. Here comes Ronnie diving to the bottom on Pino Priolo. You've got to hurry, Ronnie. You can't muck around. Wellesley is back there on the outside. Well, Ron, you need to get it on. Here comes Wellesley on the inside and makes him pay. Well, we talked about it earlier, and it's really easy for us to say it from up here, but look there. Have you got your welding mask on, Pino? Wellesley just showers him in sparks. They go down the main straight. Rushy's starting to line up John Krikke now. You just can't hesitate.
No, he who hesitates is lost.
If you snooze, you lose, to quote the great Big Ed Wilbur. And Ronnie, I think, will be so annoyed with himself. That's a disappointing part. Mark Wells, being the racer that he is, will not look back. He will know maybe that's what should happen the first time. It's easy for us to say up here in the commentary box. It is a whole lot harder to put it down on the track. Wellesley is running away, and I don't envisage anything other than a red light stoppage is going to help Ron Krikke back, because look at Mark Wells getting away. This will be win number 8 for the season.
When he gets on his railway line, he almost just seems to run around on automatic pilot, and just so smooth. And from that position, no one will catch him.
No, you got that right, especially not this man right now. Ronnie Krikke back in second spot, as here comes Wellesley with Shane. And look at that. Straight through on the inside. I don't think Shane had much of an idea he was there until he went through. Ronnie doing the best he can, just hanging on, that gritty determination, the guts and courage that make you a 2-time national champion, a 6-time Speed Week title holder. But Wellesley, very much the face of West Australian sprint car racing these days. Immense popularity, unequalled, I think, in many years.
There wouldn't be too many popular drivers like Mark who are also winners, and it's been a top season for him. I guess he'll go close with the All Blossom medal.
Yeah, he'd have to be very close to it. He's certainly been one of the standouts in his respective class. They come off turn number 4. I think laps are getting by, and there's 25 laps. City and Regional Fuel Sprint Car Shootout, and a race for a man named Bruce Kilpatrick, who just lives, breathes, sleeps, and eats sprint car racing. Here comes Ron on the inside of Shane. Did not hesitate there, and this is the type of race that Killer Kilpatrick loves.
Yeah, he would have loved to have seen Ron win too, of course, very close to that family. And as you say, there is no greater enthusiastic supporter and sponsor than these people. They travel the world to watch sprint car racing. They go to the national title. They go to Knoxville every year. They love it.
Well, we're only a lap away from a checker here, and at the moment, this man, I think, has won the shootout before, Mark Wells. It would certainly surprise me if he hadn't. The PMFM 92.9 Kendrick racing car comes out of turn number 4. Checkered flag is out. Oh, up in smoke goes Gavin Migro in his 7 car. Wellesley gets the win. Ron Krikke will get second. Third would be Ryan Farrell. Fantastic run from him. Now here is Ron, ever the sportsman, pulls up alongside Wellesley and says, well done, you mongrel. One gets the feeling, and Wellesley about to pull it around and do a Kowicki lap himself, and I guess it was in everyone's minds before they went out for this race. Oh, that was close, wasn't it? That if they won, they were going to do this.
Yeah, it's strange that they remember to do that, isn't it? After a race, you've just driven 25 laps of 100 miles an hour, and you still remember to go and turn it around and go and do a lap the wrong way.
Look at him waving that flag too. He's absolutely pumped to have won it. I tell you one thing that's even more ridiculously hard than most people would imagine is handing that checkered flag to those guys. People might think that's easy. It's not. It's quite a daunting and spreading. Well, how many checkered flags have you caught? Not many lately. Now there is Ron, Derry Dorrington at his side very quickly. Wellesley comes in. There's some fairly choice expletives. There you go. There's a big word for you. I can do that too. Expletives. Get lost. But in Ron Krikke's helmet, here is Killer Kilpatrick. Ryan Farrell, great drive tonight.
Just got my Coke. Yeah, no, it was. He drove really well from the back of the field and worked his way through. Excellent effort.
This man's a champion, and has been and is and will be, because just look at the way he's accepted all of this. I mean, I know it's, you know, to many people it's just another race, and he led, and he's the one that said that he screwed up in traffic, but just look at the way he's so gracious in his defeat, you know, and the first person he thanked was Wellesley for doing the job. And he's just been a wonderful ambassador for sprint car racing. Look at the look on the faces then. Wellesley gets up and says, I know you're annoyed. Oh, plant one there, Wellesley. Didn't miss that opportunity, and she looks pretty pleased about the opportunity as well. There he is, your City and Regional Fuel Sprint Car Shootout winner. Des, thanks for dropping by.
No worries, Wade. It's a pleasure.
So Wellesley accepting the adulation of a crowd, which was very close, as a matter of fact. Everyone was invited down to be around the dais. And just a fabulous result. There is Ronnie in the middle. Mark Wells, the City and Regional Fuel Sprint Car Shootout winner. Ronnie's still got his 95. Oh, isn't that cool? There it is. What a fabulous night. Plenty of emotion. Wild sprint car racing.